Hello, Starshine. My name is Liz and this is my channel, Simsational Stories. If you have not seen my videos before and you enjoy this one, please like and subscribe. And maybe check out my Facebook page where this whole thing began as well. All relevant links are in the description below. And of course, if you're a Sims player and you'd like to download any of the characters featured in my stories, just search the hashtag Simsational Stories on the Sims 4 gallery. All original content is created by This Is Not Eric. Alrighty then. So, welcome, and what is up, Buttercup? Are you having a good day? Or a bad day? Whichever your answer, please allow me to distract you from your life and tell you a story, a Simsational story. Before I begin though, I'd like to issue this blanket content and trigger warning. The following story is just Sims, hey. I'm not going to apologise for treating them terribly, if that's what I've done, But I do want to assure you now that although I mean absolutely no harm, I completely understand if you feel unable to consume my content. Many loves, and we will catch each other on the internet elsewhere. Okay, so now we've gotten that over with, let's go. Today's story is from Conservationist Kaiulani of Sulani, and we're at chapter 3. If you have not seen previous chapters and would like to catch up, there are playlists available on my channel so you can hear the entire story in chronological order. The rest of us are going to move on from where we left off last time though, so without further ado. After that first night together, Alejandro Varela and Kaiulani Lunalillo were almost inseparable. Following his wife's death, Alejandro had thought his heart was dead too. Until Kaiulani had come into his life and woken it up with her wonderfully simple self. She hadn't even been trying. And that was what had made it all work so well, probably. Their love just came naturally, as inescapable and inevitable as the sun rising in the morning. Kaiulani hadn't been through loss like Alejandro had. In fact, she had never even been in love before. She had thought she was happy alone and didn't need a man to complete her. Her work as a conservationist had always taken up so much of her time anyway. She hadn't thought that she would ever find anyone to compete with it. Alejandro wasn't competing though. He happily contributed to her work where he could and waited patiently for her to be done when he couldn't. It was a blissful interlude for the young couple. Kaiulani was falling in love for the first time in her life, and Alejandro was able to heal and reawaken his heart. They had rushed into things together at first, but now that overwhelming passion had faded a little, they were able to relax and get to know each other better. Alejandro living at the commune made things easy too, as there was always someone to look after his infant son Angelo while he and Kaiulani spent their time together. Kaiulani wasn't letting her new relationship distract her from her own work and life though. She was still very committed to improving the environment and ecosystems of Sulani, and would often be found roaming the islands, cleaning up trash and raising awareness amongst locals and visitors alike. She had been very successful, and improvements were beginning to show themselves all over the place. Kaiulani didn't let any of that trash go to waste either, as she had discovered the joys of recycling. Instead of throwing it all away, she would collect everything she found and bring it home to put through her shiny new recycling machine. She had been promoted 4 times in the 2 years since moving to Sulani and was a frugal saver, but with her 5th promotion came a generous bonus, and Kaiulani decided to invest in herself and her home. The first thing Kaiulani did was add a second story to the simple little beach shack she had originally purchased when she first moved to Sulani. It was an expensive renovation, and at first she was nervous about spending that much money, but what else was she supposed to do with it all? She was earning so much now that it was just ridiculous not to do something selfish yet sensible with it. She already regularly donated to her favourite charities, and she had always dreamed of having more space. Besides, Kaiulani justified her renovation with the idea that if she added solar and wind power to the house, it would kind of pay for itself in time and keep her covered with those pesky neighbourhood action plans that had suddenly become so popular everywhere. Thanks to Kaiulani's hard work, Sulani was now a very environmentally friendly place. So, of course, all the NAPs reflected that. The other advantage of her success at work was that within 2 months of committing to the decision, she had her second story. The first, and at first only thing, Kaiulani furnished her new room with was a fancy new fabricating machine. She had wanted one of these forever. It was so exciting. Fabrication machines were all the rage right now. She couldn't wait to start fabricating her own eco parts to upgrade all the household appliances, and was even thinking of turning her hand at a rug or a chair. That could look nice. And after a little while, on the other side of the room, Kaiulani set up a bed, desk, toy box, and bought a crib before inviting her boyfriend Alejandro over and surprising him with an invitation to move in. They'd only been together for a little while, but he was everything she'd ever wanted in a man, and his being a whole island away was just ridiculous. They loved each other, and they should live together. Alejandro was happy to accept Kaiulani's offer. He had appreciated living at the commune of Ohana for the last year since Dominique had passed away, but he felt he was ready to move on now. And he couldn't believe Kaiulani had built a whole extra room basically just for Angelo. She was such a beautiful, kind, and generous person. He didn't deserve her. But somehow he had her, and of course he would love to move in with her. And so, for the second time in her life since leaving home, Kaiulani was living with another person. Things with Sunflower had always been so chaotic, and she had felt like a trapped, unready parent. But it was different with Alejandro. He was a partner and a friend, as well as a lover. And he loved to garden, so he fitted right into her home. He hadn't worked since his wife had died, but with Kaiulani's ability to work from home if she wanted, giving them flexibility with Angelo's care, he finally decided to start a part-time job at a local island nursery. While Alejandro was at work, Kaiulani started looking after baby Angelo. She was new to babies, but she was an absolute natural, and found herself falling in love with Alejandro's son as easily as she had fallen in love with his father. At just over a year old, Angelo was an adorable little baby with a happy nature, easily adapting to this new change and person in his life as he had many others beforehand. Having spent months in the commune of Ohana, he was used to different people looking after him and almost never cried or threw tantrums. Alejandro worried about what to tell his son as he grew up, though. Soon Angelo would be talking and toddling. He already said a few words. And when one day one of them was "Mama" towards Kaiulani, Alejandro found himself choking up. He didn't want Dominique being replaced. She had been Angelo's mama, and Kaiulani was just what? What was Kaiulani to Angelo? And that brings us to the end of Chapter 3 of Conservationist Kaiulani of Sulani. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can tune in soon to hear the next chapter. And hey, maybe think about sharing my channel with a friend. Or don't. It's your life. Anyway, bye!